Yeah. So I'll just mute you all. Okay. So we have to now visualize ourselves as the OC, the original consciousness, Atma itself. This is the limitless OC, the limitless Sakshi, limitless Brahman. And when does the reflected consciousness, the Chidabhasa, come? When the mind comes. When the mind is present, RC is present because mind is the reflecting medium, the RM. If the mind is not there, the reflecting medium is not there, obviously the RC, the reflection, will not be there. But is there the OC or not? Yes, the OC continues. But the OC cannot be seen unless there is a reflection. Only the reflection can be seen. The original OC can never be seen. Just like you can never see your original face. And when you look at the mirror, remember, it is not the original face that you are seeing. It is the reflection that you are seeing. So if you want to see your face, if you want to see your own eyes, you have to have a reflector, a reflecting medium, which in this case is the mirror. And in that mirror, what you see is not your original face, but it is the reflection of the face. And therefore, if I want to touch my eyes, what do? I don't touch the reflection on the mirror. I touch my original eyes. That's how you know that what you see in the mirror is not the original. It is only a reflection. And therefore, going by this same logic, whatever you are seeing in others, other beings, in other living beings, remember it is only the reflected consciousness. It is only the RC that you are seeing. In Sanskrit, they call it Chidabhasa. You can only see Chidabhasa. You can never see your original consciousness. The Sakshi which you are, the Atma which you are, that can never be seen. And how do I know this? Because there are Mahavakyam of the scriptures. So he says, Tattvam asyadi vakyani. So Tattvam asyadi is tat tvam asi iti adi vakyani. Means statements of the scriptures, adi vakyani, etc. Like what? Tattvam asi, etc. There are many such Mahavakyams in the scriptures. And one Mahavakyam, what exactly is a Mahavakyam? It is a sentence which reveals the non-difference between Jivatma and Paramatma. So any sentence in the scriptures which tells you that you and Paramatma are the same, that is given the name of Mahavakya. And this is one of the famous ones, Tat Tvam Asi. Tat being Ishvara, Tvam being you. Asi is the equator. So Tattvam Asi, you are the Lord. That is what the statement says. So Tattvam Asi Adi Vakyani. That tells you what? That you are the OC, you are the Atma. So he says Jaguhu. So Jaguhu means to reveal, that which reveals. What does it reveal? It reveals you. It reveals you as what? Purnena Brahmana Ekatam. It reveals you as Ekatam, as one with whom Purnena Brahmanaha. And what is this Purnena Brahmanaha? Avichinnasya. So Avichinnasya is the OC, the one which is not divided. The Paramarthika Satyam, that is the OC, the Atma. And therefore, Shastra, by such sentences, he is saying, author is saying, by such Mahavakyams, Shastra reveals the identity of the Jiva with Brahman, of the Vyavaharika Jiva with Brahman. But the tragedy is what? I don't take myself as the Jiva equated to Brahman. I take myself either as Pratibhasika Jiva or Vyavaharika Jiva. The one with the body-mind complex living in this transactional world, or the dreamer. I take myself only as one of these two. So Pratibhasika is the dreamer in this case, Vyavaharika is the Jiva in this transactional world. And as long as I take myself as either of these two, this sloka is saying, author is saying that you will not be able to understand this oneness with Brahman. And therefore, he is saying, learn to withdraw, learn to detach from the Vyavaharika Jiva as well as the Pratibhasika Jiva. From both those roles, you must learn to withdraw and identify yourself as the OC, the Paramarthika Satyam. And so he says, Na itara jiva yoho. Na itara here means the identity, the oneness of these two. Itara jiva yoho, which two? Pratibhasika jiva and Vyavaharika jiva. Na. So na means this oneness, this identity with Brahman, that cannot be there for the Pratibhasika jiva or the Vyavaharika jiva. As long as I take myself to be the body-mind complex, this particular oneness with Brahman, the fact that I am identical to Brahman, I will never be able to understand. And that is what he means over here. Okay. Now you can unmute yourself and we will read the next verse. Brahmanyavasthita maya
ब्रह्मण्यवस्थिता माया
विक्षेपावृत्तिरूपिणी
विक्षेपावृत्तिरूपिणी
आवृत्त्या खण्डतां तस्मिन्
आवृत्त्या खण्डतां तस्मिन्
जगज्जीवौ प्रकल्पयेत्.
जगज्जीवौ प्रकल्पयेत्.
Okay. So, imagine a state, he says, where only Brahman was there. So, we are talking about before Srishti began, before the creation began. Imagine a state where there is only Brahman. And therefore, here he is trying to explain how this Jagat, how this universe came around. And why is it important? Because when the universe came around, when the Jagat came around, then only the other two jivas were born. The Vyavaharika Jiva, the body mind sense complex, who also is a dreamer. So there are three worlds. The Satyam world, that is the Brahman's world, where there is only Brahman. And there is this transactional world, which is the Vyavaharika world, which you call the Mithya world. And there is a dream world, which is the Pratibhasika world. So in both these worlds, the Vyavaharika world as well as the Pratibhasika world, there are jivas. So before this world began, before the Srishti began, what was there? Only Brahman was there. The Paramarthika, Satyam was there. And that Brahman decided to use Maya Shakti. Maya Shakti, because Brahman plus Maya is Ishvara, as you all know. Maya Sahita Brahman is Ishvara. So using this Maya Shakti, that Ishvara projected a dream. Okay, this Vyavaharika creation was projected by Ishvara. So remember that Brahman cannot create and Maya by itself cannot create. It is the combination alone which is the creator, which is called Ishvara. So using this Maya Shakti, this physical body and universe were projected. So this is just like when you are in a dream, you the waker are the one who is actually projecting the dream, though you don't know it's a dream. And therefore the same analogy is being used. Ishvara is projecting this particular universe, like I project my dream. So both, he says, the universe and this physical body, Vyavaharika body of mine, both are like the dream projected by Brahman plus Maya. And for the sake of enjoying this dream, this Brahman, I came down and entered this Vyavaharika body, this Shariram of mine. And the Shariram, as you know, is Jada, it is inert. And once it comes in contact with Brahman, it becomes conscious. And it becomes a conscious Jiva. And therefore, by virtue of Brahman entering this body-mind complex, I became the Vyavaharika Jiva. So far so good, right? Because I came down to enjoy this universe. But the problem is that, the tragedy is that, once I entered this Vyavaharika Jiva's body, I forgot that I was the OC. So this is like the same analogy. You, the waker, when you lie down, you become the dreamer. And as a dreamer, you enter the dream world and have all the dream experiences. But the problem is, the moment you enter the dream world, the waker is forgotten. You forget that you are the waker and not affected by anything in the dream. And that forgetfulness is the tragedy. So that is what causes the problems. So in that analogy, Brahman has no problems. Ishvara has no problems. But having entered this Vyavaharika body of mine, I have forgotten that I am Ishvara. I have forgotten that I am Brahman. And therefore, I have taken the problems of the body as my own problems. And that is what is being said. And Brahmanya Avasthita Maya. So, Brahmani Avasthita Maya. That Maya which is Avasthitaha, located Brahmani, in Brahman, in the OC. So that is, he's talking about how this Srishti was formed. This Shakti, this creative Shakti is Maya. And that Maya is Brahmani Avasthitaha, located in Brahman. And this Maya has got powers. What are they? Vikshepa Avritti Rupini. So Vikshepam and Avriti. Vikshepam is what? Projection power. Avriti is veiling power. So this Maya has got two powers. Rupini in the form of Vikshepa Avriti. And what does it do? Tasmin. Tasmin is upon the OC, upon the Sakshi, upon me, Brahman. What happens? Prakalpayet. Prakalpayet is the superimposition, the projection. Jagajivau, Jagat and Jivau. So to be broken up into Jagat plus Jivaha. So this Jagat and Jiva both are projected onto this OC, which is what? Which is me alone. And the projection is done by what? By Vikshepa Shakti. And unfortunately, why does it happen? Akhandatam Avrittaya. So Akhandatam, I am Akhanda, I am Purnam. My status is that of infinity. So Akhandatam means that which cannot be cut, that which cannot be split. So that completeness which cannot be split, that Purnatvam, which is Brahman, Avritya, it has veiled it. So this Maya, the veiling power, has made me forget my Akhanda status. So you can see there is a sequence here, right? First, there is the projection. So this Jagat and Jiva, he says, Jagat Jivau Prakalpayet, has been projected Tasmin, upon me, the Sakshi. And having projected, then the projection is the Vikshepa Shakti, the Vikshepa power of Maya has done the projection. And as soon as the projection is done, then the problem starts, because Akhandatam Avrittaya, the Avriti Shakti, the veiling power, makes me forget that I am Brahman. So this Avarna Shakti has made me forget my status as Sakshi. So he's saying, how is it that we have become a Jiva, though actually we are Ishvara? How is it that I have become a Jiva? That is being explained over here. Okay, we'll just chant the next verse also. Please unmute yourself. So this verse number 36 we can chant. Jivodhistachidaभासः
जीवोऽधिष्ठचिदाभासः
भवेद् भोक्ता हि कर्मकृत्
भवेद्भोक्ता हि कर्मकृत्
भोग्यरूपमिदं सर्वम्
भोग्यरूपमिदं सर्वम्
जगत्स्याद्भूतभौतिकम्.
जगत्स्याद्भूतभौतिकम्.
Okay, so this is the continuation of the previous verse. First, what happened? The projection took place. Jagat and Jiva were both projected, superimposed upon me, the Sakshi. And then the veiling power of Maya, Akhandatam Avrittaya, has made me forget that I am the Sakshi. So I, the Sakshi, have forgotten my true nature and now take myself as the Vyavaharika Jiva in this world, in the relative world. So this Jiva here, Jiva means it is the Vyavaharika Jiva who has forgotten his true nature as OC. And he says, Dhista Chidha Bhasaha. So Chidha Bhasaha is reflected consciousness. Chida Abhasaha. Reflected consciousness. Reflected where? Dhihi. So Dhihi Chidha Bhasaha. Dhihi is the mind. So the RC is reflected in the mind. That's what we talked about. RC needs a reflecting medium. And here he makes it clear. Dhihi, the mind, is the reflecting medium. And because of that, this Jiva, who is what? Who is the RC reflected in the RM. So very clearly telling us the definition of a Jiva. Jiva is equal to RM plus RC. The reflected mirror, medium plus reflected consciousness in the medium. Which means what is being reflected? The original consciousness, the OC, the Atma is being reflected in this mind. That mind has become the reflecting medium. And because of that, now reflecting medium plus original consciousness gives rise to a third entity, the reflected consciousness, which is what? Jiva. So he says karma krit. You have to add bhavati. And supply bhavati means has become the Vyavaharika Jiva. Karma krita means the one who does karma. So this person, this Atma, which is Akarta. I, the Atma, my true nature is that of not doing anything, of being Akarta and Abhokta. But because of having forgotten my nature, I have become the Jiva. Because of the Jiva being defined as what? Reflected consciousness in the reflecting medium. And because of that, I have become a Karta. Karmakrit Bhavati. But the problem is what? Whenever I do karma, it gives karma phalam. So karma phalam is either punyam or papam. And the law of karma says that whenever punya phalam is there or papa phalam is there, this has to be experienced. And therefore, by becoming a karta, by producing punyam and papam as phalam, I have become a bhokta of the karma I have done. And therefore, bhokta cha bhavati. So you have to say karmakrit bhavati, you have to supply bhokta cha bhavati. Having become a karta, I have automatically also become a bhokta, the experiencer of the consequences of my action. And he says, bhogya rupam idam sarvam jagat syat. So this entire universe, sarvam jagat, syad, is what? Bhogya rupam. Is the place where I experience the bhogya rup, all the phalam. Bhogyam is phalam over here. In the form of experiences, all the punyam and papam are experienced by me in this jagat. So sarvam jagat syat bhogya rupam idam. This entire universe is nothing but the field, the place where I will experience my fruits of all my actions. And he adds bhuta bhautikam. This jagat description is there. It consists of bhutam and bhautikam. So those of you who have done Tattva will know that bhutam is the five elements and bhautikam is the products of the five elements. The combinations of the five elements, they are called the bhautikams. So the jagat consists of bhutani and bhautikams. So in English, the elements as well as the elementals. The elementals consist of combinations of the elements in various proportions. So the Panchabhutam and all the products of the Panchabhutani, that is what constitutes the universe. And this universe, he says, is meant as a place, as an arena where all the phalam of all your karma has to be experienced. So with this, we'll stop here and we can look at any questions if you have.
Om, sir.
Om, Shweta, tell me.
Sir, it was a bit heavy. A lot of processing is needed.
Yes,
But
because
just one
actually
small.
it's supposed to be done after people have done Gita and all that, but it's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
you're
But
doing,
one small thing, I have a question. It's a very small question, but how the author has connected the reflecting medium or the jiva, not the reflecting medium, the jiva, and the karma, the experience, like how he's directly in one verse he's coming, he's explaining everything related to the reflected consciousness, original consciousness, and how the jiva comes into picture, and then suddenly he's on the second line he's talking about the experiences and the karmas and all that. So I logically, yes, it is related, but sometimes I feel it's a bit incomplete, but maybe I'm missing a link there.
No. The thing is that this is one of the secondary Prakarana Granthas. It's supposed to be done after you have completed the initial Granthas and then also done all this, a little bit of Gita and all that. So have you completed Tattvabodha, Shweta?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So then it works like this. He is assumed that the whole sequence is known to you. So what happens is that because you are RC, your real nature is OC, right? You want to be full. You are actually, because your real nature is completeness, you will never be satisfied with being incomplete. So because of that feeling that I am the RC, RC is always incomplete. Why? Because RC is located because of the reflecting medium. The reflected consciousness is always located in the reflecting medium. Therefore, there is a location for the RC. That is why you feel that this body is me, because the consciousness is reflected in that body of yours. But really speaking, you are Atma, which is all pervading. As all pervading entity, you are Purnatvam itself, you are completeness itself. But as the RC located in a body, there is some nagging doubt in your mind, that I want to become Purnam. Not knowing that you are already Purnam, you want to become Purnam. And that is the root of all action. Because to want to become Purnam, what can you do? You have to do something. So not knowing that you're already Purnam, your whole life is spent in acquiring things and getting rid of things. So pravritti nivritti. This is the lot of every human being. And when you act, you are acting thinking that I am this body. Therefore, though the actions belong to the body, you, the Jivatma, owns up that action. And therefore, with the owning of the action, the consequences of the actions are also owned up. And that is the link. So with every action, there is a consequence. And you, the Jivatma, have to experience the consequences of that. The only way to get out of it is to come out of the dream, which is know that I am not this Jivatma. That is what is called moksha. That is the connection.
Yes, sir. So more Bhagavad Gita part also as Karma Yoga.
More Bhagavad Gita, actually, it takes a long time. Okay, you can ask the long termers over here. There are a few long term people over here. Meda is there, Anju is there. They've been there for 3-4 years or 4-5 years now. So it takes that much time to be able to really understand.
Yes, sir. Of course. Understood.
Okay, anybody else? All right. In that case, we'll call it a day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Tat Sat Om Namah Shivaya.
Om
Have a
Namah
good night.
Shivaya.
Thank you,
Thank you so much,
Acharya.
sir.
Thank you, Acharya.